It's Infectious Dreads. I'm back with another video. This time it's a pros and cons video. I would recommend this video to anybody before they start their dreadlocks. I would recommend them watch this video. Let me start off with the cons first of all. Yes, as awesome as dreadlocks are, there are some cons and downfalls to having dreadlocks. One of the main cons is longer dry times. It's a pretty obvious thing, you know. Of course, it's pretty obvious that it's going to take longer for your dreadlocks to dry than, you know, straight unknotted hair. And that also depends on the thickness of your dreadlocks as well. Another thing that's right up there with the cons is they're not overnight. They take a while to mature. They're not something that just happens overnight. You know, you don't. I hear a lot of people say make dreadlocks. You don't really make dreadlocks. You're making the early stages of a dreadlock. So you technically, you know, don't really have dreads until they start to mature, technically, because they don't look like dreads. They're just poof balls. But okay. Another thing on that is when they're young, they're fluffy. You get a lot of loose hairs. You know, they might not look. You know, they go through stages, so you're not going to have the straight dreadlocks right out the gate. You're going to have to go through stages, and I mean, even mine are still maturing, mine are still tightening up, mine are still doing their thing, and I'm not even 2 years in yet. I'm almost 2 years. So, and once again, with the like I said, with the fluffy, loose hairs, you also get the loops, the lumps during maturing, which those are natural. Those are things that's supposed to happen. You know, let's see. If I could find one, because I got another one over here that's doing it, and I was finding it all day yesterday. Just steady grabbing it without even trying. I always talk about that one. I showed this big one right here, and all the lumps and stuff inside it, you know, and that's just it. You know, they get lumps, and that's what they do. That's the maturing process. And they get the loops and stuff because of the way they mature. All right. You know, another thing about it is I really haven't had this problem in person. It's more been just an online thing, and it still hasn't even been that bad. But you do get judged. You know, people do see you, and you know they either think, you know, oh, that's a drug dealer, you know, that's a druggie, a pothead, or whatever, you know. And then some people might think, depending on how your dreads look, they might think you're dirty or this and that. But I mean, me personally, I always get compliments for mine ever since I first had them, even when they were poof balls. But you'll get the crazy looks, you'll get all that, and okay. Along that same line of being judged somewhat is you stand out. Now this could be positive or negative. In this sense, it's going to be negative, as in, you know, if you just want to blend in, you know, you just want to go with the flow. You got dreadlocks, you're going to stand out. You're going to get unwanted attention. You know, that's how it goes. Alright, trying to go through this a little faster because the last time I made this video I was at 13 minutes and I wasn't even where I'm at now. So apparently I rambled on a little too much last time. But alright, another thing, swimming. Swimming, it can have its advantages and disadvantages. Depending on what you're swimming. If you're swimming in just a pool or something, you know, of course, anytime your dreads get wet, you know, it makes your hair expand a little bit, so loose hairs have more of a chance of slipping out. So you have that, and then with the ocean, the sea salt, or the sea salt, pretty much the ocean, the water, the salty water and stuff, it will help your hair or locks mature. But at the same time, I noticed with mine, you know, with the waves, they went through a phase where I went to the ocean, or I went to the beach a few weeks back, but well, maybe a few months back now. But and the waves kicked my butt. They had my dreads looking funky. Like I did maintenance a little before my vacation, within a month before my vacation, and like they looked worse than what they did before my maintenance because the ocean just threw me all around. Now they have matured a lot since then. I'm not going to say it was like even an overnight thing with that. Like, oh, they helped drastically, it was magical. It didn't really do that to me. It just kind of seemed like it caused more damage being in the ocean, which I've heard people have different effects on that. But another thing was which this kind of should have been at the top. It was kind of added to the list, so I really was just kind of going in order, so I kept up with everything. But work, as much as it sucks, work jobs are able to discriminate against certain things. If you got tattoos, piercings, dreadlocks, they could, that could affect you having a job. That could affect your job if you have a job already and you get them. So make sure you run it by your boss, or make sure you run it by, everybody you work with, your manager, whatever, that it's okay. You got to cover them, keep them covered or whatnot, but that work is a big issue that kind of should have been at the top. But anyway, work. All right. Another thing is they can affect sleep. You got all this on your head now, so it can be a little uncomfortable, and you could get some used to trying to sleep. Me, I have an undercut, and I did it this time a little higher than I did the last time I had my undercut, because I could just kind of flip my hair back, and like the side of my head, the back of my head, and all of that touches the pillow, so it's not a big deal with me. I just kind of throw my dreads over my pillow and just go to sleep, no problem. But that can be an issue, because with my last set of locks, they were thicker, and they were a little lower, so I did have to lay on them. And it took a little getting used to, let me start over. It took a little getting used to having that on top of a pillow. So that's one thing. Now this should have been in with the swimming, but the next thing is they can be heavy. When they get wet, this is in the shower, no matter what you're doing, if they get wet, they're going to get heavy. Not only that, but just dreadlocks in general. I've heard a lot of people that had dreadlocks for a very long time, having neck problems and having that, because your dreads, it's knotted up hair, and after they mature, they're like rock hard. So you got to think about it. You got all that hair hanging from your head, so it could get heavy. All right. As of right now, those are the cons I can think of. This video has been put off so many times because I was like, I'm going to forget something. But you know what? If I need to, I can make a part 2 of this video. So let's jump over to the pros. The pros. Depending on your preference, depending on, what your style is going for, you don't have to do your hair daily. You don't have to do your hair weekly. You don't have to do your hair monthly, depending on how you do it, how your maintenance is set up for it. And I mean, that's a good thing. There's nothing like being able to just get up in the morning, not have to do nothing with your hair, not have to do nothing with anything, which I either really had long hair, which I just pulled back in a ponytail, or very short hair, which I didn't have to do nothing with, so that really don't apply to me, but, I know that's a pro to some people. Alright, another thing is it can help your self-confidence. This is really big on free-forming. If you free-form, I've talked to a lot of people, and it boosts their self-confidence, because, people, that free-form, they go through many different stages, and they look the different ways before they become dreadlocks. So, it will help boost your self-confidence, Alright, and, a small little factor in is, you could tie your dreadlocks up with other dreadlocks. So if you didn't have a band or something to put it in, you could just grab some dreadlocks and tie them up. I'm pulling on some hairs, but see, you just tie them up. Which that wouldn't, I would have been a little bit more cautious with that, and, spend a little more time doing that if I was actually doing it. Another thing I've noticed, conversation starters. Even with other people that don't have dreadlocks, sometimes that gives them initiative to want to come up and ask you questions, or just to talk to you. They might think you're an interesting person because you have dreadlocks. So I have had a lot of conversations start based solely on my dreadlocks, and conversations started because, my dreadlocks caught somebody's attention. And, we just talked about other things, but, my dreadlocks are what caught the attention of them. Another thing is, this is the positive side of the con of standing out. Maybe you want to stand out. Maybe you don't want to fit in with the crowd. Maybe you want to sit there and be unique, be your own person, this and that. So, in that aspect, that's the thing. You can stand out. So that's a positive if that's what you're into. One thing I did notice is not necessarily friends, but associates. But true friends / associates stick around after you get dreadlocks. You kind of find out who's shallow and who's not. Like, I had people where, you know, work-wise, I always wore my hair wrapped up, and then when I came into work with my dreadlocks, I got treated differently after that. And sometimes I would get cold shoulder from certain people because of my dreadlocks. It's amazing how a hairstyle could do that, but that is well, you know, that could be a pro and could be a con. I'm looking at it as, in my opinion, it would be a pro because it weasels out the bad friends. It weasels out, you know, people that you don't need in your life. But at the same time, it can be hard because you might lose some good friends. You never know. So I mean, I guess that could have a con side to it too. But anyway, and the last thing I can think of with the pro is they look awesome. I mean, who doesn't like dreadlocks? I mean, I love my dreadlocks. But yeah, before this video gets any longer, I wanted to just make a quick video to kind of give you a heads up on a little bit of what to expect. You know, the pros and cons of having dreadlocks. It's been Infectious Dreads. I appreciate you checking out my videos. Peace.